We are back in Malta, and I just picked up my tiller from my friend here, Tony. He was gone. He had a machine shop replace the over drill the hole here and put a bigger shaft. They made it so it's like a shaft with two threaded ends. What had happened is that it kind of wallowed out this hole into an oval, so there's a lot of play in the tiller. This is my tiller. That's the tiller head. So I think this should fix the problem. It's definitely, no play at all in there. All right, tiller is reinstalled. Wow, that is tight. There's no play in that at all. That is awesome. So that should fix the feel of the boat when I hand steer. It should help make the wind vane steer better, and the autopilot should lose less energy. Just eliminated that dead zone. So I went ahead and scraped all some of the growth off of the slime and stuff off of the boot stripe. And I'm gonna move it up a little bit. So we had our bottom line right here. You can see there was like, it would sit like around here, and there would be growth up here. So we're gonna move the black stuff, the bottom paint, the ablative bottom paint, probably up to here. And then that means our boot stripe will come up to here. Of course, in the front, it was sitting just right. So I just kind of eyeballed this masking tape line, and I moved it up just a little bit just because no one wants our nice boot stripe getting all fouled. So then we'll do the same thing with the bottom paint. Now I just need to sand this. I scraped all the loose stuff off. Just give that a little sand, and I'll put some white. And then the other side I haven't done yet. You can see all the gunk on here. But if I can at least get that started. Just got my first coat of paint on the new boot stripe. Raised it up. I just used this inexpensive enamel. Last year I used, or when I originally did it, I did use the polyurethane one part, and I don't know, it held up okay, not great. So we'll see if this does better or worse. This is a good opportunity to change our zinc. You can see it's wearing away a little bit. Let's pop the old one off. Got a new one here. Easy. One question I'm sure you're all dying to know is, does a 25 millimeter zinc fit on a 1-inch prop shaft? I'm thinking it will. I've also started sanding the prop smooth because our neighbor here, Jim, on the Halberg Rossi from Seattle, he gave us this prop paint, color paint. So we're gonna give that a try. We'll see if that keeps the barnacles off. Apparently prep is important, so sand this up nice and smooth. Oh, the primer is like a nice teal color. That's a primer, right? Yeah, primer. Okay. It's very runny. So I have to get this everywhere. Paint that on our propeller. Not too hard. All right, got a line on this side, and the primer is drying. Now I've got to sand the rest of the bottom. I'm not looking forward to that. We'll see how long it takes. Hopefully I can get it done today. All right, so it was probably like an hour, maybe 2 hours of sanding. It felt like 10. It's very black now. Yeah, I think I'm ready to do the bottom paint. I'll do that tomorrow morning when the wind dies. Today's bottom paint day. We're gonna use, what is this? We got Interlux or International Micron 300 and black again. $350 worth of bottom paint right there. So we got it all taped off, and we've raised the water line just a little in the front and a bit more in the back. So that should look nicer in the water. Best part. Nice. We got a full coat of bottom paint this morning on pickled herring, and I just remasked it for a second coat. I always take the masking tape off right away just because it can bake onto the sun, I find, and I don't have to deal with that. It takes a little time to remask it, but I think it's worth it. And so I just repositioned the stand, so now I'm just scraping off any barnacles that are left. That looks pretty good. Yeah, so I'll give this a little sand now, and then we can paint. So I just repositioned the boat stands, and I put an extra one there just because they're storing all their stands behind my boat, so I got plenty. We are on to the engine mounts. Aren't here yet, but I'm gonna start by getting everything as ready as I can. So I'm removing the top nuts. That one I'm gonna have to get the angle grinder and cut that off. I think it's just super rusted on there, but that's okay. This one I got off, and then I need to take off the starter and alternator and an oil filter, I think, before I can start tackling this. So that'll be next. All right, making some progress. I got the starter and alternator off, so I've got pretty good. Also starting to pull some more other stuff off, the hoses and things. So I've got pretty good access now to the engine mounts, and then I cut the nut off of this one. I think I'll probably have to do the same thing for this one. I can't really get to the bottom of it, and the rubber just kind of like crumbles, and I don't know. I think that's the easier way. Unfortunately, there's all these fuel lines around here, so it makes a lot of sparks. So I'll try to get those out of the way, though. We're getting there. So my engine mounts finally arrived. I rigged up this black and tackle. It's a mess in here. Black and tackle attached to the two little lifting eyelet things here on the engine, and then this goes to some wood, and I had to attach the wood somehow, so I just tied some ropes around it. The engine's about 130 kilograms. So I think this should be enough to lift it, and let's just see if it comes up. Alright. The back one is just gonna stretch. Here are our new mounts, made in the USA. Oceanic Innovations comes through again. I had to make these custom ones to the exact same dimensions. Look at that. That is perfect. So there'll be no problem swapping these bad boys out. And they even did it in yellow like I asked for. Or he asked me what color, I said yellow. Cool. You can use their discount code, like Sam Holmes, if you need some new engine mounts. And they are able to do custom jobs sometimes too. So they're stainless steel stock mounts. Really nice quality, and they're basically like the same price as the Yanmar mounts, which are not stainless steel, so it's like a no-brainer. I would just go with them. Okay, so I moved this. I'm only pulling on one eye now, so I can just lift this front part out. And looks like I got, almost got this guy free. Darn, gotta go a little higher. So I've already got the front two in, and what I did is I attached, at first I was going to lift by both the eyes, but I really want to do the front ones and then the back ones. So I just attached the front eye. I'll just move this rope to the back lifting eye, and this is going to be the hard one, I think. Get these back ones out, which were much rustier. You see I had to cut the nut off of there, you can see with the angle grinder. So a little messy, but I think we'll get this done this morning. I woke up at 6:30 a.m. to try to beat the heat today, and it's just starting to warm up again. Let's get the fans on, and we'll get the AC on too, although it doesn't really do much, but it does a little bit. Move it a little. There we go. That should come out now. Unfortunately, they use like excessively long bolts to get these things in there, so it takes forever. And I can only like move my little wrench like this much at a time back there. I got all 4 mounts in now. I just got to tighten up the bolts in the last one. I'm gonna lower down the engine now. Alright. Should be sitting on the mounts now. Looks good. And I raised them up just a little bit over the previous ones because I'm assuming these had settled a little bit. And also I figure it's easier to adjust the motor down than it is back up. So once I get these bolts are pretty hard to get in. But once I get those, then I'll start tackling the alignment, getting it as perfect as I can. I even got a dial indicator, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to rig that up or even use it, but it might be fun to try. And here's a better look at the old ones. I'd say it was good to replace them. They just like kind of exploded, especially the back too. I had to cut these, you see, just to get them off. But these new ones are good. I think they'll last longer. These motors been in here for 23, 24 years now, I think. So one of the things that made this annoying was these bilge pump hoses. I've got 1, 2, 3 bilge pumps, and they run through the engine compartment, so I'm going to reroute them through this under sink compartment because I work on the engine a lot more than I do under the sink. So I just use this tool to cut out this hole. I think it's cut out. Like it started to, yeah, there we go. I got a little entrance in there, a little mouse hole. Hopefully no mouse actually gets in there. So unfortunately now that hose, I thought it looked like it was plenty long enough, but now it doesn't reach the pump. Just a little bit short of reaching the pump there. So I guess I'll have to get another little bit of hose and a coupler, and I also put a kink in that hose, so maybe I just need to replace the whole hose. I don't know. It's freaking annoying. But it does give me some extra room. Let's see if we got room to put these other 2 bilge pumps that way too. I made that hole like way bigger than I thought it needed to be, but look, it just barely fits even cut that big. So I guess we'll just have that one hose go through there, and the other ones will be annoying and in the way. Okay, so now I gotta figure out the wiring. Unfortunately I took pictures of all my wires, but I don't know where this black one goes. Here, this is like the big ground one from the battery. The negative from the battery. I think it might go on here. Shoot, I just don't. I think it just needs to go somewhere on the engine, so I guess right there is probably fine. Who knows? Okay, today is the day I should finally get the engine mounts done. 2 of the screws were, I got them all in except for 2 of the bolts were spinning. So I got some bigger lag screws, I think, for those 2. I think that should solve our problem and still hold it down pretty securely. Before it had these like machine screw ones, and I think maybe I stripped out the nuts in there. There's like nuts embedded in there. I'm not sure how they installed this, but I'm just gonna use lag screws because I know some people do it like that. I got that one in already. Now let's go back to this guy. Of course, it's gonna be the farthest back one. Get this started by hand. We are all hooked up. I think everything is good to go. Double check if the wires are touching anything. I need to zip tie these later, but for now they should be okay. We're neutral. Oh, last fuel line. Oh, and I gotta bleed it. Oh, and so I've hooked up a temporary water line so I can run it with a hose too. Okay, I think we're good. The motor fired right up. I just plumbed this hose into my water pump and ran it for a few minutes. So no vibrations at all. That was awesome. Hope it's not too rigid, but I think it's just about right probably. The other ones were just getting so worn out. The motor was hopping all over the place. This will be great. Okay, so I just thought about what I just did, and that could have been really bad because I had a pressurized hose running into the water pump and it started, so I think we're okay. But maybe I don't want to do that because like that could run the water through the engine and then back into the exhaust and fill up the cylinders, I suppose. So I think in the future I'll just run it out of a bucket. I thought I was being clever because sometimes the bucket tips over or it runs dry or the hose flips out of the water. But no, I don't think you want to run a hose straight into the water pump. Too risky. We just got a delivery. The folks at Temo sent us a new battery with a charging port. I think the charging port maybe got corroded or something and shorted that out. So it looks like we just pull the old one out and change this plug. Shouldn't be too hard. We got the old Temu. So this guy, old battery. So I'll just give that a good. There we go. It looks like they're using some little Torx connectors. I don't know if I have that. All right, just around the store, I got the Torx bits and removed this bit. So one thing I didn't notice is the stainless going into the aluminum. Like there's a lot of corrosion. I'd like to see some isolation between the stainless and aluminum, or at least some like Tef gel or Lana coat. But it did come off pretty easily because they were only threaded into this plastic, I believe. Yeah. Also, things not holding up in the seawater are their little clamp thing here. It's like a plastic coating or something on the aluminum. So that's been flaking off and kind of hard to use. Other than that, I guess it's held up okay. Maybe this is a good time to give you my longer term review since I've had this for about a year. You're obviously the ergonomics are not great, on this, and I don't think a trigger is the way to go for this kind of thing. 'Cause you get a feedback loop, If you go full throttle, yeah, it's fine, But if you need to go slower, you're trying to save battery or something, the moment you pull the trigger, it jerks forward and pulls it all the way, and then you release it and it comes back, and then it's just not very ergonomic. And this handle shape, it looks slick, but this is not how you would hold. You wouldn't. I can't figure out. Yeah, you hold it like upside down, kind of. Just the whole thing is not ergonomic, but I think that's fine. It's like a trade-off, The form factor is what you're going after. I really want to try this on the beach catamaran, so I think that might be where it really excels. Battery life is worse than I expected. It's not good at all. But again, that's why I think it maybe for the beach catamaran, it makes more sense. All right, let's put the new tube back in here. Okay, now I just put these connectors to go. I'm gonna go one way. Let's hope so. All right, let's turn it on. Key. I think it's pointless. No, doesn't work. The battery maybe? Oh no, it works. Alright, cool. I'm gonna put this back together with some Lana coat. This stuff, just so I can eliminate the corrosion. Today we're going to do something really exciting. Didn't even realize it was something I wanted to do until I saw it the other day. It's called flyboarding. It's basically like a water-powered Iron Man boot contraption. Lets you fly around the water, connected to a jet ski by a hose. So like, you should check this thing out. It's crazy. There's the jet boots. That was a lot of fun. Apparently this thing can go on the back of any jet ski. So we did the flyboard and it was a lot of fun. I did way better than I expected. I thought I'd just be falling all over the place, but I got out like the first or second try and I thought like I got pretty high. Definitely would recommend it if you see one of those things. I think it was 80 bucks, but it was worth doing once. And I think Flyboard Malta is they're on Facebook. If anybody wants to do it with these guys, they were great, good instructors. They just kind of follow you around with the jet ski and you just kind of like flying around over the water. So we're going to do a little modification around the chain plates. You know, I feel pretty good about them. They're being strong, but they've been super annoying. They just catch the halyards all the time. So I'm gonna fair them into the hull. We'll just put filler on them and then put a layer of glass over top just to kind of smooth it out. And it won't be really that pretty, but hopefully it'll just kind of keep the halyards from sticking. And if we can come up with a better idea in the future, we'll do that. So what I should have done, I should have like beveled, should have like tapered them down here. But now that this bolt's here, I can't really do that. And rounded them, I should have had countersunk bolts. So lesson learned, how to do them in the future. Suppose if you had like a rub rail coming across them, it might help a little bit, but I still think they would catch underneath since they're not like tapered. So here's where we started. I ran out of filler. I'm not hating it as much as I thought. I think if I sand that smooth, it actually won't look bad. And I don't think I need to put the glass over. I was gonna try to glass over it all, but maybe I can do that later if I think it needs to be more smooth. So my chain plates are painted now. Doesn't look great, but I think it'll solve my problem. That's how I figure out something neater to do with them. These are my boatyard neighbors, Jim and Barbara. And over lunch, it came up that they had a sewing machine. So I asked if they could help me make this modification to my sail because I had it had it made a little bit too large, so we're just gonna trim off the bottom and sew it back up here. So we're hot knifing?
Hot knifing
with a transformer. Okay. This binding tape at the bottom. Using more of our favorite tape, seam stick. Yeah, we're sewing just this little bit of leather. We were able to reuse it, and it will look as good as new, basically. We got the webbing and the binding.
Did you want to stick it on with the tape to hold
No, I think
it in place?
it's like I think I need to hold it anyway. I don't think it will.
It's kind of sticky anyway, so
Yeah, it's got
it'll stay.
some sticky from the other stuff on it. This is a struggle here. A lot of layers. Somehow I've hit almost every hole. Okay, maybe a little bit off.
That's good to go back through the same holes because it weakens it otherwise.
I don't know about that.
Taking a break from the sail mending.
Yeah, the hands, oh, I can feel them now, really. There's a lot of work in that needling out there.
And the boats are right over there.
See pickled herring blue. And I see your sail pack.
Yep. There's Valletta.
Massive thanks to Jim and Barbara. This is their sailboat, Complexity, which they sailed all the way from Seattle. A very long way. When a boat was in Venice, I had the anchor sitting on the deck so it wouldn't stick out over the marina. And it left these rust stains. They look even worse on the camera. So I got this like acid, hydrofluoric acid, I guess. Works pretty good. I did the deck already. Just clean up these stains. Coming right off. Just pulled my CO2 tank off. I'm gonna weigh it and see how much CO2 I got left. 28.2. So I subtract 18.7 tare weight. And that gives me how much? It's a 15-pound tank. Well, we almost got 9.5 pounds of CO2 left out of 15. And I filled this last time was a year ago here in Malta. And my tank is at a hydro test. I don't want to deal with that if I don't have to. And this should last until I get back to the US, I think, at least a year. So we're good. So tomorrow is my launch day. I just paid the bill. Let's see what the charges are. So the haul out round trip with pressure washing, 550 euros, 6 weeks on the hard, 369, and 5 liters of bottom paint, it's 288. Comes to, with a VAT of 217, 1428, which really is not too bad, I don't think, for 6 weeks in a boatyard. And maybe the haul out was a little bit on the higher end, but maybe it's like on the middle range. I could get a lot cheaper in Tunisia, but I think it's worth it for me to do in Malta. And the bottom paint, you know, I got a good quality bottom paint, so I'm happy to pay for that. Real windy, should be good sailing. We just relaunched pickled herring. 10 minutes is all it took. The motor's running very smooth. No leaks with the PSS. Water's pumping. So I think we're good. That's our main halyard up there. Oh, getting close. There's a new water line. Might have gone a little higher than I needed to, and the back looks pretty good. Thanks for watching, and a special thanks to everybody who helped me get pickled herring ready to relaunch this year. The boat's in really great shape, and we're ready for a great season. Next video, we'll be sailing to Linosa and some of the other little islands out here, and then on to Tunisia and onward. And I think it's going to be a great season, so I'll see you guys next time.